pray. Father God, thank you for this morning. Thank you that we are able to enjoy this day anew. I pray in this upcoming moments that we would have wisdom and as we make decisions that pertain to the people and the citizens of this county. Bless our time together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I'm going to, if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to change this up a little bit. Kathy Rutledge from the Health Department is scheduled to go next. I want to do the minutes and get your nepotism forms passed around here, and then we'll have Kathy come up. You've been presented with a copy of the minutes from November 15th, 2023. Are any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. And moved by Councilman Yard. Second by Councilwoman Prosser. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried. And you all have the nepotism forms before you. If you'll sign those and send them around. And while you're doing that, Kathy, would you like to go ahead and make a presentation, please?
Hello, I'm Kathy Rutledge. I'm here to speak to you again about...
Is your microphone on? Is it blue?
It says blue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm just here to speak to you again about reevaluating the salary for the position of Vital Records Registrar Office Clerk. Excuse me, I'm really nervous. The only thing I really wanted to say that was not said last time was I realized I didn't speak about the liability that I believe I've reduced for the health department. I've created from scratch vital records policies which protect the health department. Also, the health department is now taking private insurance for vaccinations. Quite a big step for us. And if this is not entered thoroughly and accurately, this can be extremely costly because those vaccinations will be paid for by the health department. The other thing is the Indiana code was changed in July pertaining to the Board of Health members and their appointments. I brought this to their attention and I worked with them to decide how our members fit those requirements and what we need to do to bring a couple more people actually on board to the health department to fulfill those requirements. This is, of course, in just one part of many of my duties. And I realized that this position does not fit neatly into any category. I was told that there were 60 other employees that fit in this category, and that if I was given a raise, it would open the door for those other 60 to also, try to increase their pay, their salary. But I just wanted to remind you that the health department employees are paid out of health department funds and they do not come from the county funds. So I'm just asking you to please go ahead and take a look and revise your decision about the salary for this position. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for Kathy? Question the standard raise for the county for 2024 was 6%. And this position received that 6%, or did they receive an additional also?
6%.
Okay. Comment, discussion?
I believe she deserves a raise, but I don't know how we're gonna And I've talked to Kathy a few times. I've talked to Dottie, talked to Cheryl, and also several other people. I really do believe it needs to be looked at, but I don't know what the standard, how we're gonna do it, because the comma B position, I don't know whether that should be in there, and I'm not on the wage board or study how to keep that there, because since she's been hired, her job, the things she has to do has gone up since she's been hired in there as a bookkeeper or whatever, an assistant, now as a register. So, I've gone back and forth, and the thing is, I don't know what to do on how to raise her salary, which I think she deserves, and keep everything else in check. I've looked for suggestions and stuff, and I realize comparing other counties, we're not with some other counties, but I don't know everything on the other counties either, so.
Any other comments?
I don't remember, was this brought to the committee for consideration back in, I don't know, we usually meet certain months of the year before the budget. Was that brought up
They
then?
redid the job description. They submitted the job description, Dottie sent it to WIS, and
Okay.
it came back, and it still falls in this kind of classification.
Okay. So we did review it, WIS reviewed it and said it was in the right category.
Correct.
Was it close? Do you know the number? I mean, was it close to almost the next?
I don't think
Middle,
so.
it's in the middle,
Yeah.
It was in the middle?
yeah, because Dottie
So it
pointed
wasn't
that out.
a miscalculation?
Point-wise, it's right in the middle. And I talked to Dottie on Orange when she wanted to talk to me. That's the most cases, but anyway. Twice on this to try to see what I could have done to get her moved up to the next. Just, and I understand Dottie don't know what all the points that go into it, because the book's about this thick, and she looked what she could do, and she didn't know how to do it either unless it's retitled a different job description or something like that. Not both, as I said, I've talked to both Cheryl and Kathy about it. I don't know how you go about it and do it right, fair to her and fair to everybody, because if we move her salary up, we're gonna have to come back up. I think she should be bounced up.
Remind me, did we do the WIS study at the end of last year, the updated study? the
They
beginning.
updated some job descriptions that were redone. In fact, I think quite a few of the job descriptions in the health department were
Redone that.
revised and sent down. If you go through the history and make sure that I got this timeline correct, Susan, but we did the initial study a number of years ago.
Correct.
We categorized everybody. We were not able financially to bring everybody up to the wage level that WIS suggested was necessary at that time. The next year, we attempted to make those, get closer to those dollar amounts.
Right.
But we did it without sending it back to WIS. And then this past year, we did send it back. And we're still not there. I mean, I think that there's still room to move, but I think when we do that, we're going to have to move all at the same time.
Correct.
This picking one or two departments or one or two individuals is really causing a lot of consternation and a lot of issues. I mean, if we're going to do it and be fair to everybody, and that's what we have to be fair to everybody, we need to move it all at once. And that's what we tried to do by going instead of a 4% raise, which is what our growth quotient was limited to this year, was 4%. We gave them an additional 2% on top of it, even though we were not going to get a comparable increase in tax money coming in. So we've done what we could for next year, I believe. Yes, and it is all tax money that's involved here. It's not all property tax, it's not all local income tax, but it is all tax money that's coming in. So I think we have to be good stewards of the entire fund. Now, I know that is not going to help Kathy in this particular moment, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't look at this again, because right now, we're in that time frame between now and April is when they're allowed to look at things, and we can send things back to for further study. But it's not anything that can be done now. We have to look at doing it in a methodical and fair way. Amy, did you have something you wanted to say? Okay. You must have turned your button off. I thought you were turning your button on. Uh-huh. Is there any other comment? Hearing none.
I just want to say, no matter what I do, I just get the feeling, I won't get the sport to pass anything. But, and I don't know what would be a fair raise for it. We have heard numbers, certain numbers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But my issue, and I think she deserves the money, and I know I do not have, as I've talked to several of the people on here, at this time, I think I wouldn't get a second or anything, but I think we should really look at this. I know once we get after the first year, should bring it, I'm not going to bring it up as the beginning of the year, but we need to look at this second or third time and see what we can to get their money up. But as of right now, I don't see how we can do it without really causing an avalanche of problems for us moving on.
I don't think it's customary, is it? Maybe it is, for just one individual to come in as an employee and request a raise. Customary?
think
Have we
most
done that
of-
before?
You're correct. It's not.
Okay.
It's not customary.
It would normally be like the department head at budget time, correct? Like
What?
that's the normal procedure we would follow.
But
Okay,
at
thank you.
budget time, I did ask, along with Kathy with the C and Bernie, I asked for a $15,000 raise at budget time and a $5,000 raise with Kathy with the C, and it got turned down. So that just started a process. I wouldn't think, I wouldn't go, it'd be different if this was just her. But we've gone through and raised the nurses. We've raised the septic inspector and the food inspector's raises, so it's not, and she was the one that was left out.
Well, if,
There's
if I
other
could-
positions in the health department that they just got the
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's
but
not what I
this
meant,
is the nurses and the other two, that's what working with.
Well, let me make a suggestion, and be what it may. I do believe that we still need to, we've got the job descriptions pretty well set and revised to where I think that they are in the best shape that they've ever been. We've still struggled with getting people to the pay rates that the market would request or require. So it is a very difficult job for us as a council or Dottie to go out and find the appropriate wage scales for the different levels. Before we get to doing the budgets for 2025, should we engage WIS to provide us with that information, that appropriate wage studies? There are some that are out there. In my professional life, I was used to having information available to us every year when we did the budget. The Hospital Association put together a wage package or wage scale for the entire state of Indiana as to what each particular job was being paid at that particular time. The County Council Association puts out a similar study for all 92 counties. Now, I will tell you that the most troublesome thing with the one that the County Association puts out is the fact that we cannot always be guaranteed that auditor in this county is turning in the numbers exactly the way the auditor in the next county is doing. So you maybe have to do a little more investigation of those numbers before you accept them as being, fact, because they're coming in different fashions. But prior to getting to the budget for next year, for 25, maybe we should have something prepared for us. And I'm not so sure that that same situation is not going to be happening across the state. Now, WIS does this for a number of counties. Baker Tilly does it for a number of counties. There are the Reedy Financial Group does it for a number of counties. So it's out there. And I suggest that we get that information before we go into the budget for 25. We're going to need that anyway we're going to need it early because Community Corrections is going to want to know what kind of raises or what kind of salaries she needs to put into her budget to the state, and she needs that information before May. So, which is earlier than what we would actually be working on it.
Rick, when we take that stuff to WIS, do they also calculate, do they compare benefit packages, any other kinds
They
of
don't, but it could be.
benefits that the employees receive? It's not just enough, working in the HR field, we deal with this a lot, it's not just enough to compare hourly salary, but also taking into account the entire benefit package, right? Like the retirement funding, insurance, those kind of things. So I'm not opposed to doing it. I would like to look, maybe getting Dottie to look at some other agencies that, let's get some price quotes. Let's see who could do it for us well, and then take into account the entire compensation package. So
I don't have a problem with looking at the benefit package. Actually, that's been the discussion across the state in that the benefit package is essentially a county council function. It is part of the pay of the individual. So it is being talked
Right.
about across the state. So,
sure. The big piece, for sure.
but I would not want to just include the 92 counties. I would want to see what cities and towns are also offering. Because we are not always competing against another county, because we're looking at the entire employee package here.
But when we look at different counties, is that really to just pay what the same just pay across the board? I think, sometimes cost of living is different in every county, but also, are we afraid that we're losing workers to other counties?
Well, as we always had to deal with at the hospital, Amy, I was competing at DeKalb, I was competing with Fort Wayne. I was not competing with Angola, I was not competing with Kendallville. I was competing with Fort Wayne.
Right.
And so that made the pay that we had to give here much higher than what I would have to give if I was in LaGrange or one of the other counties. We are often compared here locally to what Auburn does as far as benefits.
Sure,
And it's much different than what we
Sure.
are able to provide.
sure.
So if we're going to look at a package, I think that that's really what we need to look at is not only the counties, but also who our competition is.
Yeah.
You know, who are we losing employees to? Cities right now are losing them to the county. I think you can see that the Garrett Police Department has just lost a number of police officers to DeKalb County. It used to be that we lost employees from the county or from the city of Auburn to Fort Wayne, simply because it was a larger police department and there was more opportunity for advancement. So that's who you were competing with. So if we're going to look at it, it has to be in a comprehensive way. And it's gonna take time. It's not something that we can sit in 10 minutes and decide that, well, this is what we're going to do, because we don't have the information that we need to make the decisions. So without a motion to do something different, I would suggest that we would move forward and have Dottie get quotes on doing wage studies. This is not studies of job descriptions or anything else, but be wage and benefit studies. And that doesn't need a vote, that just needs a consensus. And this would be prep for the 2025 budget. Yes, no, maybe? All right. Yes, I think it is. It is more detailed, especially with the addition of the benefits. We have a consensus that that's what we're going to do? All right. Yes, yeah, we're not authorizing the study. It's just to get quotes, to get the information that we need.
If we can make the quotes as detailed as possible and what they include, so we're comparing apples to apples. Sometimes they come back with generalities, I know, and I'd like to have some real detail on the quote of what they're going to do and what they're going to compare.
Well, exactly my point about the Association of Counties study. You don't know what all's involved there. It's not always the same. All right. All right, I'm hearing consensus. Kathy, I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention. It is not, it's not an issue that we can deal with now, but it's definitely one that we will deal with. I hate to tell you to have to wait, but that's really what has to happen. We just have to wait and get the information we need to make the correct decision for everybody. All right, so thank you for your time. All right, moving on. I've lost my agenda. Moving on, we want to do additionals and transfers. Like we have one additional, and that comes to us from the Health Department, and this is in the Public Health Bioterrorism Fund in the amount of $12,500. And Department of Health, Public Health Bioterrorism Fund, 8113, The account title is contract staff. The amount is $12,500. Was this included in the annual budget request? The answer is no. Was not planning on using this grant at presentation time. How will this appropriation be used? It will be used for grant deliverables, trainings, and meetings. Specific cost is $12,500. Contract with Vantage Point. Is this a recurring expense? The answer is no. Will other expenditures be necessary? The answer is no. This was discussed with the department liaison, Bill Van Wy. And that's it. And Cheryl's gone. All right, I believe that this is grant money that's coming in. Am I correct? This is
Yeah.
from the Emergency Preparedness Grant? Okay. All right, can I have a motion to approve this additional in the amount of $12,500?
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Van Wy. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Collins. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right, we have hang on just a second. All right, the first transfer comes from the clerk's office. This is it. These are county general. This is being transferred from office supplies to equipment in the amount of $1,000. Voter registration needs a new printer and Dymo label printer for voter registration documents, and bookkeeper needs a new printing calculator. I have a motion to approve this transfer, motion by Councilman Yard. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Kraft. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same. That motion's carried. The next one comes to us from the coroner's office. Thank you. Just give me a second here, back to. This is for the county general fund in the amount of $3,000 to be transferred from medical fees to deputy coroner. Why is this transfer needed? I am moving funds from the medical fees to the deputy coroner fund to cover salaries for this year. There was a change made in the way and in the amount of cases are paid, necessitating this transfer. I am transferring additional monies to ensure coverage if there are additional cases on call to be paid for the final days of 2023. Thank you. Will an additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was this discussed with the department liaison? The answer is yes. That was Councilman Collins. And I have a motion to approve this transfer of $3,000. Been moved by Councilwoman Prosser. Second by Councilwoman Dembski. Discussion? Comment from the public? right, I have a motion, I have a second. There was no discussion. Nothing from the public. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Next comes to us from the commissioners in the amount of $412,364.58. This is from the, this is a transfer within the general fund and is going from capital outlay to bond payment highway. Highway initial payment for 2024, remaining payments will be from the lighted. There are multiple sources paying for the new highway, utilizing appropriated monies to reduce the number of places that need to be tracked. The highway garage, it's the garage. The facility, and the rest of this form wasn't filled out, so I'm assuming that the auditor discussed it with the commissioners, that this is what they want to do.
Well, this is the first initial payment of the highway bond. So when we were going through the bond process, financial advisors asked if we could pay this year yet to reduce what was going to have to be bonded. And the commissioners have had $525,000 set aside in their county general budget for multiple, at least 3 years, 2 or 3 years for the highway project.
Any questions of the auditor? Comment from the public?
How much you say they had set back?
$525,000.
All those in favor of, or wait a minute, do I have a motion? Okay, been moved by Councilman Collins. Who was that? Who was that? Second by Councilwoman Prosser. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor of this transfer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Next. This is for the courthouse in the amount of $6,200. And it is being transferred from building repair and maintenance to maintenance officer floating, the amount of $6,200. Why is this transfer needed? This is for a new position. Was the appropriation request, will an additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was this discussed with the department liaison? The answer is yes. That was with myself. And I will entertain a motion to do this transfer in the amount of $6,200. Been moved by Councilwoman Dembski. It's been seconded by Councilman Yard. This is that new position that will be the maintenance person for community corrections, the central communications in Sunny Meadows that we have discussed in the past.
We didn't put any money back for it. Start him out.
We
Going forward.
have it in the next year's budget, but I didn't request an additional appropriation for this year because I could transfer.
Has someone hired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's hired.
Yeah, he's been here a few weeks.
Yeah, been doing a pretty good job from what I've been able to hear.
I met him at Sunny Meadows the other day, and it's a huge help to have somebody with that knowledge out there on a regular basis, just to stop in and touch some things. Really,
And
really
there, aren't
helps
there, they're gonna restructure one of the buildings out there so that he has a shop where he can work.
Yep.
So, I think it's been a good move here. He's gonna save us quite a bit of money. Lewis from Superior Court 1 in the amount of $1,000. This is moving from office supplies to other service fees in Superior 1. Request is made to cover an invoice received from Mickey Rustin mitigation specialist in regards to 17D01-2303-MR-001, Terry Sands. Will an additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was this discussed with the department liaison? The answer is yes. That was Councilman Yard. And I have a motion to approve. This have been moved by Councilman Yard. Is there a second? And seconded by Councilman Van Wy. Question, I believe that this has to do with our trial that's been moved over to Wabash County, so there will be others coming through for this, I would assume, next year.
Yes.
Because didn't I just see that they had requested $25,000 to be set aside
Yes.
for
Yes.
this mitigation specialist?
Yeah.
And it is one of many, because we'll be paying the full freight for everything that happens in this trial over there. So, discussion? I have a motion, I have a second. Comment from the publics? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same, that motion is carried.
I would just like to add, it's been a long time since I've been called Davy. But thank you, it brings back lots of pleasant memories. So,
Where's that at?
where it says liaison's name?
Yeah.
Davy.
They put that. That wasn't me.
I
That's hilarious.
It brings back lots of pleasant memories.
Which
that's
person in
sweet.
Superior One knew you when you were a kid?
I guess so.
Probably Danita.
Hopefully it all good.
It was Danita.
Oh, he
All right,
typed like I would die than he can sit.
That's funny.
And next comes to us from the clerk's office, and this will be from the clerk's perpetuation fund in the amount of $1,000. Being transferred from other service fees to part-time. And why is this transfer needed? To cover the remaining payroll for 2023 for 2 part-time employees. Will an additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was this discussed with the department liaison? The answer is no, and that would have been Councilwoman Dembski. And I have a motion to approve this transfer. Amy, was that?
Prosser.
Councilwoman Prosser made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Yard. Discussion?
Just quickly, this is the second transfer we've done today, and neither time have they. Every time. Maybe abreast of what's going on.
I would agree with you, Rick. So get that, pass that message along to Holly. I realize that they're gone right now to the Election Commission seminar, but make sure that that happens. And I think most of these transfers we're doing today are to cover what was going to end up being a negative at the end of the year. So it's pretty routine, and I don't think there's. I mean, we need to be notified. I don't ever like to come up here and be voting on one of these that I don't know something about if if a department I'm supposed to be a liaison to. So I think it is important. Okay. Did I get a vote on that?
No.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Comment from the public. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right. And the next one comes to us from Central Communications, and this would be from the Public Safety Lit, the county share. And there are 2, and I'm going to ask that we take these together. First one is coming from repairs and maintenance supplies to computer equipment in the amount of $1,400. The second one is going from equipment repair and maintenance to computer equipment in the amount of $2,800 for a total of $4,200. Is that okay that we take these together? Okay. All right, first one, repair and maintenance supply to computer equipment, $1,400. The second one, equipment repair to equipment, or computer equipment, $2,800. Why is this transfer needed? Transfer will allow us to move ahead on our dispatch console refresh project while saving $14,500 in equipment cost. This is separate from the phone system refresh project. Was this discussed with the department liaison? The answer is yes. That liaison was myself. And I have a motion to approve these transfers. Been moved by Councilman Collins. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Prosser. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried. And next one comes to us from prosecutor's office. And this is going from vehicle maintenance and repair services to furniture and fixtures in the amount of $2,300. And this is, the fund name is pretrial diversion. And it is going from vehicle maintenance and repairs to furniture and equipment, or furniture and fixtures, $2,300. This transfer of money is needed to cover the purchase of 4 new desk chairs for front office staff. In addition, it will cover the purchase of 10 new conference room chairs. Our current conference room chairs are in ill repair, several are broken and therefore unusable. Will an additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was this discussed with the department liaison? The answer is yes. Liaison's name is Councilwoman Dembski. And I have a motion to approve this transfer of $2,300. Been moved by Councilwoman Dembski. Second by Councilwoman Prosser. Discussion? Hearing none. Comment from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right. Next one. And there are 4 in this group. This is from the State Grant Community Corrections. There are 4, one from overtime to equipment rental in the amount of $1,954.62. One from the service officer to equipment rental, $2,813.65. One from service officer to equipment rental, $146.94. And from service officer to laundry and janitorial supplies, $838.25, totaling $5,753.46. Transferring money from the 100 series accounts that will not be used in 2023 to accounts that will be needed for remainder of 2023. Will an additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was this discussed with the department liaison? The answer is yes, and that is Councilwoman Dembski. I have a motion to approve these transfers. Been moved by Councilwoman Dembski. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Kraft. Discussion?
What is equipment leasing? What are they leasing? Is that on their computers or?
It's probably their ankle monitor things.
They increase it. People, personality is. I understand that part, but. Number of people requesting jewelry has gone up too. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I have a motion, I have a second. Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same, that motion's carried. All right, you have a list of the non-approval transfers. And for the public's knowledge, that would be transfers that are within the same groupings of numbers, 100s, 200s, or 300s that don't need a council approval. Randy, if it's okay with you, I would like to take a 5-minute break or 10-minute break. Is that okay? Okay. Let's take a break and be back here at 9:30. Thank you. call
thank
the
you.
meeting back
I'm
to
not worried
order,
about that.
and we'll move on
Are we
to
still on
our report
transfers?
from the airport.
Okay. Okay, I'll just do,
You have a question, Don?
No, hold your thought.
okay, I'll hold my thought.
Yes.
All right, Randy, you're on.
I'm on. I did forward the briefing document, and so hopefully you all have that. The changeover from the storage, the large 12,000 gallon storage tank from our avgas to Jet A is underway. We did find out the soak test basically is they put a new epoxy liner inside the tank, and they put a certain amount of fuel in there to test it to make sure that the lining doesn't break down. If the lining doesn't break down, that's all usable fuel. If the lining breaks down, we just lost about 5,000 gallons of. So we're hopeful that it worked on the avgas tank, the self-service, which, by the way, we actually had a transient pilot come in at 1 a.m., land at our airport, fuel up his airplane, and taxi back out and take off. So it's been advertised that we have self-serve fuel, and at least in one case that we know of for sure, and that was as of our last board meeting, Friday's our next one, we had at least one transient that made use of that. So, but we will go up to 24,000 gallons of Jet A for the helicopters and the jets, and we're hoping again that our enhanced runway will attract more jet traffic, which has been attempted, but we're still having some issues with navigation aids. Our nav aid relocation project will start again in January. These are the Malzars, the white lights that kind of run chasing the rabbit down the road, the sequenced lights that point down the center of the runway from quite a distance out, so the pilots have a visual reference to the runway as well as navigation aids that they would have in their aircraft. That'll start. We're going to have some closings, some that'll have be able to call in and get clearance to land with 15 minutes notice, but there's going to be part of the radio navigation system, believe it or not, is the ground in front of the antennas. It has to be of a certain elevation, a certain flatness to generate a signal that bounces up that the airplanes can see properly and help them line up with the runway and give them both vertical and horizontal resolution. So they end up, if they come out of the clouds at 300 feet, they should be at a particular point at a particular altitude, and they don't have to see the runway until they're at that decision altitude. And all that equipment is being installed starting January. So that's underway. And we've asked about the church. John Fry has said that they have all the costs associated with the church documented now. They're trying to raise money to move the Mies Chapel Church to the Horsemen's Association grounds. Since we can't legally donate any money to them, Russ is trying to set up a GoFundMe account that we can provide our backing to the project so that we could raise some funds to provide the Horsemen's Association to make that happen. So those projects are currently underway, and we anticipate a lot more information on Friday on all of these projects from Russ and the engineering department. With that, have any questions?
Questions for Randy? That Horsemen's Association is going to, they just rebuild a barn there that they moved from Allen County.
Yes, yes. That's quite a complex out there, but my understanding is, kind of as an aside here, that about half of the Horsemen's Association members were married in the Mies Chapel Church. And so it has kind of some special meaning to some of the people there. And, from the airport board, we really didn't want to destroy the building necessarily if somebody could use it. It's the church itself was in pretty good shape. The addition they put on the back is pretty sad.
They're planning on just moving the main building though, right? Not that.
My
addition?
understanding is, yes, just the main building's going to go. So at some point then, we'll level all that foundation and move the fence back out to make it continuous, because as soon as we're starting to consider or plan for additional hangars, that's probably some of the space that would go in almost immediately.
All right, any questions for Randy? Hearing none. Thank you, Randy,
Okay?
appreciate it.
Short and
All right. All right, next item on the agenda is the ordinance number 2023-OCC-15, which is a salary and wage amendment. This is going to need to be done in its entirety today. First reading, suspend the rules, then read it second and third readings. All right. 2023 Salary and Hourly Wage Ordinance Amendment, DeKalb County Council. Ordinance number 2023-OCC-15, amending ordinance number 2023-OCC-1. And this has got two different departments in it, Developmental Services, Code Compliance Officer, Pat A, hourly, pay up to a maximum of $25.33, and Probation Department, Probation Officer Assistant, Comat A, per hour, $21.31 per hour. Can I have a motion to approve this ordinance 2023-OCC-15 on first reading? Been moved by Councilman Kraft. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Yard. Discussion. Hearing none. Comment from the public? All those in favor of passing this on first reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion's carried. Now I need a motion to suspend the rules so that we can read this on second and third readings. Been moved by Councilman Collins that we suspend the rules. Or a second? Second by Councilwoman Dembski. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor of suspending the rules signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Ordinance number 2023-OCC-15, 2023 Salary and Hourly Wage Ordinance Amendment, DeKalb County Council amending ordinance number 2023-OCC-1. And I have a motion to approve this on second and third readings.
I'll move to approve.
Been moved by Councilman Kraft. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Van Wy. Discussion?
You're doing OCC-15, correct?
Right.
I thought you said 1.
I did say amending ordinance number 23.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
It's right there in the
Yes,
title.
I'm sorry. I was like,
All right, I
wait,
have a
what?
motion, I have a second. Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right. Next is an ordinance 2024 Salary and Hourly Wage Ordinance Amendment, DeKalb County Council. Ordinance number 2023-OCC-14, amending ordinance 2023-OCC-10. This ordinance includes the on-call for the coroner and for probation, the probation assistant in Comat A, and 3 lines in the sheriff's department, one for patrolman 2, the second one is for the SRO, and the third is courthouse security sergeant. Merit poll A, and civilian poll C. Can I have a motion to approve this ordinance 2023-OCC-14? Been moved by Councilwoman Prosser. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Dembski. Discussion. Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion's carried. Now I need a motion to suspend the rules. Been moved by Councilman Collins. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Van Wy. That we suspend the rules. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion's carried. And 2024 salary and hourly wage ordinance amendment, DeKalb County Council, ordinance 2023-OCC-14, amending ordinance number 2023-OCC-10. I have a motion to approve this on second and third readings.
So moved.
And moved by Councilman Van Wy. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Dembski. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right. That brings us to meeting dates. We discussed this last month, and the question, 2 questions arose. Number one, we were going to move our regular meetings to Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays, with the exception of January the 9th. January the 9th, we will still meet on Tuesday. And,
But starting at 9.
oh, we're going to start, now that one I missed.
Yeah, I highlighted it. Starting at 9 instead of 8:30 because that morning, I think a couple have some meetings that they won't be able to get here right at 8:30.
Okay, all right, so Tuesday, the 9th, at 9 o'clock. Everything else is 8:30.
Correct.
Okay. And that is February 14th, March 13th, April 10th, May 8th, and June 12th will all be regular meetings on Wednesday at 8:30. And then July the 10th through the 11th, regular meeting, which is at 8:30. And then it'll be followed by the budget presentation and work days, which would be the remainder of Wednesday and Thursday. Then August 7th, there will be a regular meeting at 8:30. August 28th and 29th are the budget public hearings, and the first readings will be on Wednesday and Thursday of the 28th and 29th, again, 8:30. Then September 18th, regular meeting, and the budget adoption for 25. And then October 9th, November 13th, and December the 11th would be the regular meeting at 8:30. So, bit different than what we've done before, but we've got the whole year planned here now, so it's out there. Everybody's ahead. So if I can have a motion to approve these dates, appreciate it.
I'll move to approve.
Been moved by Councilman Kraft. Is there a second to approve the dates? Second by Councilwoman Prosser. Discussion? Okay. Now, the
Friday? Well, we should look at that and say, maybe go back Tuesday and Wednesday, instead of Wednesday and Thursday.
we can do that.
What do you say, Susan?
I'm looking to see.
We could do that, or the other option would be Wednesday and then the following Wednesday.
Sure you do.
So July and August, we can,
Well, again, I am willing to do Friday, those two
That
months.
doesn't help her.
I'm not.
You're not,
That's
okay.
worse.
Friday's out, okay. so
Friday's out.
there is
Friday's
nothing-
worse for
There
Amy.
is nothing that says these have to be one day after the other. We could do the next week. I mean, that's not,
I
now,
did,
that works for July. Does that work for August?
I just verified on both of them, we can do the Tuesday and the Wednesday. We would just be working first, then Wednesday we would do our regular meeting first,
And then
and then
finish.
go back.
How's that, Amy? We have, if it was next week we were talking about, it might be different, but we're talking about next summer. I think we have time to
Yeah.
move it around.
Yep, and August 27th and 28th.
All right, so let's see here now. I mean, this works, I mean, for me, this actually works out good, and it works out good for the auditor because of things that happen in September. So August is gonna be the 27th and 28th. Okay.
And why we're talking about it, so that everybody is aware, on your meeting schedule, you'll notice at the top, it says meetings are Wednesday at 8:30 unless noted with the IC code. And I also have the all meetings are held in the Commissioner's courtroom with our address and our state, blah, blah, blah. Then I have it specified, like what days, which I'll change those ones. Okay, this document, and this is the same for commissioners, this document will be placed on our door and on the county intranet, and it will be courtesy given to the paper as normal. That's required. Because I have the dates, times, and address on here, this meets, per public access counselor, this meets the 48-hour window of noticing that you guys are having a meeting. So I don't have to worry about getting something else done. I do not have to have the actual agenda posted until the morning of the meeting. If I have it done sooner, which I generally do, then I will go ahead and put it on the county website. But this completely meets all the requirements that I need to do for notice of meetings for both bodies.
Questions about that?
So we did move our July and August meetings to Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Yes.
I'll be 30 minutes late to the Tuesday one it's just budget work day, so it's not our regular meeting. It's no problem.
Well, and if we do them the way we did them this year, we'll be scheduling the people that have major changes. We're not gonna do the whole routine of everybody march through and say that their budget needs to go up 4%. I mean, that's just a waste of all of our time. it's the special, or it's the larger increases or the bigger changes that we need to speak to those department heads. But at this point, and we're a long way from doing the budget, but again, I want to remind everybody that as we go through the department liaisons and that, because we're not having everybody march through, it is important that all of our, you guys all meet with your departments and your departments meet with you. If they don't call you or try to meet with you, then you need to call them and meet with them. At least talk to them on the phone and get a briefing of what's being changed. I mean, so that we can make sure that we can move through this in a smooth way. All right, everybody good with these? So I need a motion to approve these meeting dates.
We have
We
a
have a motion,
motion.
we have a second?
Yeah, we just need a vote.
Okay. Don?
Need an amendment. Because he made the motion
Okay.
before you made the change. So
Yeah, I make motion to amend the meeting calendar to reflect Tuesday instead of Thursdays on July and August.
We have a motion for an amendment. Is there a second? Second. Motion by Councilman Kraft, second by Councilman Collins. Discussion?
Then we are going to have.
Yes.
There was too much time in between the previous meeting and that next meeting that we had to stick a meeting in there. All right, I have a motion, I have a second on this amendment. Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment, changing the August and September dates, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right, now, we have a motion and a second on the
Valentine's
actual
Day again.
or the actual dates, right?
We have a motion and a second, and
All right, we have a motion and a second and an amendment. All those in favor of the motion on the dates signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right, so the dates for 24 are set. All right, now, going through the council appointments, we have a number of appointments that need to be made, and Susan has reached out to a couple of them to get these appointments set on the calendar year, rather than starting in March or some off date, that they would start in January. So going down through here, the first one that I have on here is,
are we doing these separate or together?
yeah, I think we have to do them separate.
You should
I
have it.
have,
Well, I guess I can't promise that. You probably don't.
We had them last month.
Okay.
yeah, they were out last month, but I think they're also, I think that was in the packet again, I think.
I don't know if she printed them for you or not.
Well, the first one that I have is Butler Library Board of Trustees, Kathy Bowen.
Well, okay, actually, new for this year, if we're staying alphabetical, is our new appointment to the Board of Health for Janice Arrington.
Okay. And this one is due to, this is due to the
Yeah.
change in the state law with Senate Bill 4 in the Health Department. One of the appointments for the commissioners was taken from the commissioners and given to the county council. That person who is next due up for appointment would be Janice Arrington, who currently serves on the board. She is a registered nurse. so fills that qualification. Janice used to be the school nurse over at Garrett. And she has been very active and wishes to remain. So if I can have a motion to reappoint Janice, and her term would begin January 1 and run through December 31st of 2027. Um, 1/1 of 24 to 12/31 of 27.
I move that we appoint her as liaison, or not liaison, but on the boards of the Health Department.
It's been moved by Councilman Van Wy. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Yard. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right. Looks like I have to sign this one. All right. All right, what's the next one on your list, Susan?
Okay, so then I
Yeah.
have, and
Gary Ackerman has reached, there is a three-term limit on the Eckhart Library Board. Eckhart Library did suggest that we appoint Amy Norton, who is a teacher currently at the Oak Farm Montessori School. She previously taught at the DeKalb Middle School and McKinney Harrison. And I did meet with her and the library board president, and I propose that we appoint Amy Norton to the Eckhart Library. And moved by Councilwoman Dembski. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Collins. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Hang on to that one. I'm not going to look and see what's next. All right, Rick Walters has resigned effective December 31st of this year from the Redevelopment Commission. And the suggested replacement is Peter Reinl, who is a resident of Fairfield Township, and he is currently the plant manager at FXI south of town here. And he is also a member of the Fairfield Cemetery Board and Dayspring Community Church Leadership Advisory Board. And I have spoken with Mr. Reinl, and I would make a motion that we appoint him to the Redevelopment Commission. And the Redevelopment Commission are one-year appointments. I made the motion. Second by Councilman Collins. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion's carried. Next. Next is the Butler Library. This is Kathy Bowen. And these are appear to be 3-year terms. And the Butler Library Board is asking that she be reappointed. Is it 4 years? Am I not? It looks like 3 years on the sheet, though, so, okay. Okay. All right. So can I have a motion to reappoint Kathy Bowen to the Butler Public Library Board? Been moved by Councilman Yard. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Dembski. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion's carried. Next. So, which one? Okay. And I left a message with Amber last week, and she has not gotten back with me on this. I'm making an assumption that they want Dave to remain on the tourism board. I don't know, Dave, would you have any contact with? Is it? Okay.
Sorry, we're not ready for PETA BOA board. Sheila said it would probably be next month.
Okay, well, we'll do, so then the tourism board is the only one left.
We have Milton Otero
Oh,
for economic, Garrett, and then we have Dawn for Butler Economic,
Okay,
Ron Walter for DeKalb County Economic, and then Tyler McCown for alcohol and tobacco.
okay, all right. So let's do Dave Bunn first.
Okay.
I have a motion to approve Dave Bunn for a new term on the DeKalb Tourism Board. And moved by Councilman Yard. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Van Wy. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion's carried. And jumping down, Economic Development Board, Milton Otero. This would be the Garrett Board. I have a motion to reappoint Milton to the Garrett Economic Development Board.
Move.
And moved by Councilman Van Wy. Second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Yard. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. That motion is carried. Next is Butler Economic Development Committee, and that person is Dawn Mason. Can I have a motion to reappoint Dawn to the Butler Redevelopment, or the Butler Development Corporation, and note that there are two different boards, development and redevelopment. This one is the development. Then moved by Councilman Collins.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Kraft. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none. Not that I'm aware of, but there's the city attorney over there, so.
Two separate functions.
Okay. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion's carried. And next is the
Ron,
DeKalb
yep.
County Economic Development Commission. This is Ron Walter. I have a motion to reappoint Ron to the DeKalb County Economic Development Commission.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councilman Kraft. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Van Wy. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Now, Alcoholic and Tobacco Commission?
Yeah.
All right. Tyler McCowan, Alcohol and Tobacco Commission. I have a motion to approve reappointment, and this is a one-year appointment.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilman Kraft. Second? Second by Councilman Van Wy. Discussion? All those in favor, comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, that motion's carried. All right. Next, there, on the flip side of the page, if you got it printed, does anybody, I think I mentioned this last month, does anybody want to change liaison appointments?
Keep the water, soil, water constant. What'd you say?
Eliminate change.
I am, I'm changing mine to whoever wants it, I don't need to be.
You're in the middle of it all, though. Bill, it's good for you.
Nothing like the health.
All right. If nobody has any desire to change, we'll have those stay the same. Going back to the other,
Okay, so are we gonna have a motion for them to remain?
sure.
We generally.
Have a motion to retain your council liaison assignments.
I move to approve.
Been moved by Councilman Kraft. Is there a second? Which Amy was that? Amy, second by Councilwoman Prosser. Discussion, comment from the public. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, that motion is carried. Okay, now, on the other side, certain things, the president, vice president, that all takes place in January. The ones we're dealing with now are to reappoint our council attorney, Don Stuckey, and then our different board or commission assignments. Amy, are you still good with Northeast Solid Waste District? Okay. And Bill, Plan Commission? Okay. The Tax Abatement Committee, that's Amy Dembski, myself, and Dave Yard. Good with that? Okay. Jail Committee, that one's been inactive, but it's liable to come back up, so I think at some point, so we need to keep that one going. That's Councilman Van Wy, Councilman Kraft, and Councilman Yard. Good? Okay. Job Classification Compensation Committee, Councilman Kraft, Councilwoman Dembski, and Councilwoman Prosser. Good with that one? And then NERC, the Northeast Regional Coordinating Council, that's myself. I'll keep that. DeKalb Economic Development Partnership, Amy, you still good with that one? Okay.
That one's not up yet.
I thought that one was a yearly one also, but,
Oh.
okay. Is it 4? Okay, well, you're good. All right, so, all those except for the one I just named, can I have a motion to approve those? Been moved by Councilman Van Wy, is there a second? Second by Councilman Collins. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same, that motion's carried. All right. Next, we need to give the auditor permission to make end-of-the-year transfers to keep all of the accounts at zero or in a positive number. We have a motion to give her that authority.
So move.
Been moved by Councilman Van Wy that we give her the authority to make those transfers. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Dembski. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion carries. All right. Now, council discussion. I have 3 items here. The first, and I don't know if you guys were listening to the commissioners' meeting yesterday, but the probation department has received another grant for their addiction treatment courts. and have been authorized by the commissioners that they could hire the probation department or a probation officer to fulfill that grant. And that grant, if I understood it correctly, also includes paying part of Ryan Hull's salary
And one other.
and one other. So part of two people that we've already got. But it does authorize for another probation officer. It was questioned and it was made quite clear yesterday that this is subject to the grant's availability. At least one of the commissioners was concerned that, you know, we lose the grant after a year, then the new hire stays on at our expense, but it was made clear yesterday that no, the position is specific to the grant. That they would, that person would understand on the way in to the job that it was 1 year at a time. Now, that we're going to save a little money in that the grant's going to cover part of Ryan's salary and part of another probation person's salary. We're going to save a little money there, but, you know, should the grant disappear after 1 year, we'd go back to covering the full cost there. But the commissioners have authorized it. But what we would like is to get permission for the probation department to hire this individual beginning December the 17th.
At the soonest. At the soonest.
Yes, because the grant will still pay for it. Anything that's December 17th forward will be paid out of 2024 funds. So it's not like we're committing 2023 funds. That's the beginning of the pay period, and it is paid from 2024. So, but I would like to entertain a motion that we approve the hiring of that probation officer.
I'll make the motion. I just want to have Ryan Dig discuss that grant with me. I think it's $197,000.
Yeah, it's quite large.
It is. My concern was it's dependent on. But
And Judge Grimm made that very clear also.
All right. It is, I believe it is a probation officer, but what else is included in that $190-some thousand? I can't answer that question. Oh, that's state mandated. We have no control over the probation salaries.
So I know that this probation officer would be dealing with the addiction treatment court program. So they would be heavy on that side versus a different probation duty.
I think Michael and Ryan both yesterday made it quite clear, as did Judge Grimm. These probation officers spend an extraordinarily large amount of time with these individuals. They are, you know, they're drug tested sometimes up to 3 times a week. They are counseled with the probation officer numerous times during the week. So it is very labor intensive for the. Yeah, this is for drugs. Yeah.
So the additional will come in January, but what they have in this information is that the grant will cover wages for 3 people and benefits. There will be some office supplies, some incentives, participant needs, like if they're on a work release program, things like that. Graduation supplies, drug testing, dollars, training, and dues. It looks like dues and subscriptions if needed.
And it is, since it wasn't available at time we did the 24 budget, as with all these other grants, it has to have an additional to appropriate the money that's being awarded to us. So. All right, well, the way
Not
that,
total.
the way that Ryan described it to the commissioners, it was going to cover part of Ryan's and part of somebody else. But Ryan is dedicated to one of the addiction courts. So it was probably going to be differentiated by the time they spend in the addiction courts.
It does look like it does include more of Bonnie's monies. It looks like that's a little over 59,000, where like Ryan's, it covers a little over 17,000. Ryan's paid from like 6 different grants or funds.
All right, do I have a motion and a second?
You have a motion, but no second.
Need a second. Second by Councilwoman Dembski. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Next is the lit ordinance. Let me see that.
Everything.
All right. Susan found out through the DLGF that we were to have a local, an ordinance covering our lit, local option income tax. And this is, they have provided us with the sample ordinance, and am I describing this right? It needs to be split in a certain way on the property tax relief, and they were just doing it automatically down there in Indy, but it needs to be in an ordinance form here. So that ordinance will come to us next month.
It's
because
there.
there will be,
The ordinance is included there, but
right.
we won't do the public hearing.
There will be a public hearing on this. And essentially what it is showing, it shows the existing lit rate is 1% for certified shares, 0.25% for public safety, 0.25 for economic development, 0.5 for property tax relief, and 0.13 for the correctional rehabilitation facility, which is the community corrections grant. And so that ordinance will be out there for next month. One of the things that was interesting is I attended the state tax task force earlier this month. The amount of property tax relief that we have in DeKalb County built into the our local option income tax appears to be twice what many other counties have put into their local option income tax. We do 0.5, a lot of other counties only do 0.25. And the property tax relief built into that local option income tax is all being directed toward residential or homestead property. And that's the split that needed to be shown, is how much was homestead, how much was residential. So that will be available in your next packet. And then next, we need the Lita's ordinance. Next thing we have is an ordinance that comes to us from the recorder. And this is the ordinance granting the recorder's request to use monies from the Recorder's Records Perpetuation Fund to supplement the recorder's 2024 budget. As hopefully you all remember, that quite a bit of the recorder's budget yearly expense is paid from their perpetuation fund rather than from county general. Lita, would you like to give us any special explanation or anything, but this is, I understand this is a yearly thing that we have to do. Okay. All right. So, and we'd like to get this done so that it's in effect for the first of the year. So ordinance number 2023-OCC-16, ordinance granting the recorder's request to use monies from the Recorder's Records Perpetuation Fund to supplement the recorder's 2024 budget. Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2023-OCC-16 on first? Is this one going to require 3?
Hasn't before, but
It was? 3 readings? Okay. On first reading. Been moved by Councilwoman Dembski. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Kraft. Discussion? Comment from the public? No.
No.
No, this was added later. It would have been discussed at, probably not at length, but it
did
would
you
have been.
read that? Did you read the whole thing?
No, I did not. It would have been discussed at budget time, because that's where part of her money's coming from. No, I'm ready, read it by title only, but I can, let's see, we can do this. By the affidavit completed by IC 36-2-7-10-2B, the county recorder has requested the sum of $27,000 from the county council of the Recorder's Perpetuation Fund to be used to supplement payment of the part-time salary for the 2024 calendar year. Pursuant to IC 36-2-7-10.2C, upon receiving the recorder's affidavit, the county council may adopt an ordinance approving the recorder's request. The recorder's affidavit is in the proper form and content, and the county council wishes to grant the recorder's request. Now therefore, it is ordained as follows. The request of the county recorder asking that $27,000 of the Recorder's Perpetuation Fund be used to supplement the part-time salary for the year 2024 calendar year is granted. Adopted this county council, DeKalb County, Indiana, this 12th day of December 2023. It has been done yearly, and it would have been discussed at budget time that part of her budget was going to be paid for from the perpetuation fund. And I can tell you that in my working with the County Council Association, this is pretty standard for all recorders. Yes, Lita, come up here if you would, please.
I just want to make sure everyone understands it's only for the part-time indexing, not my 2 regular part-time people. That's still paid by County General. So this would be for Don. It may not happen next year. We're very close to having all the records back indexed. Once they are, then Don will be retired. So, okay.
Thank you, Lita. All right, I have a motion. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
And do I have a second? Discussion? Okay. Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in passing ordinance number 2023-OCC-16 on first reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Now I need a motion to suspend the rules. Been moved by Councilman Collins. Second by Councilman Van Wy that we suspend the rules. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion's carried. Ordinance number 2023-OCC-16, ordinance granting the recorder's request to use monies from the Recorder's Records Perpetuation Fund to supplement the recorder's 2024 budget. And I have a motion to pass this ordinance on second and third reading. Been moved by Councilman Yard.
Second.
Second by Councilman Van Wy. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right, let's
Okay, we have one more thing that Bob wants to
Yep.
bring up, and this might be,
Yeah, we have a situation at Sunny Meadows where Angela Brown, the director there, has been covering for about 3 missing staff that she's had for months, housekeeping staff, and there's a huge shortage in housekeeping, if you don't know that, at hotels, nursing homes, hospitals, they're all struggling. We have a good pay and a good benefit package, it's just hard to find those people that want to do that job. So she has personally been covering a lot of those third shifts and doing her job, plus her matron, who's kind of her second in charge there, has been off on FMLA for several months and then came back on kind of desk duty because she has health issues, and now she's back on FMLA, so she's covering for that person's job as well. We've done stipends in the past for a couple of folks that have stepped up into their bosses' roles. She's actually stepping down into her whole workforce and providing all the extra manpower and doing jobs, cleaning bathrooms and everything else as the director there. She's been a great servant, and I just feel like she deserves for what she's done this year. She has a lot of money left, obviously, in her personnel budget because she hasn't had the folks to fill those positions. But I'd like to make a motion that we give her a $3,500 stipend for '23 for all of the work that she's done. Now, we are trying to address the problem for '24, which is going to probably require us to, she has a new person that she thinks she has hired for housekeeping, but we may still have to add some of this. And what we've talked about is hiring a cleaning company instead of a person. And that may be a better deal anyway for us. We won't have, perf and all that kind of stuff to pay. So she's working on trying to get a cleaning company to come and do at least the bathrooms and, a couple of times a week or whatever she can get them to, depending on the payment, what makes sense. She's going to look at that, and I'm working with her on trying to make a solution there. So, like I said, our wages that we actually have for those folks is very competitive. She said it's not a matter of that she can't compete with other people that are hiring for that. It's just that they aren't out there. And everybody's in a shortage for that housekeeping, cleaning type of a position. So a cleaning company may be the better way to go. So my suggestion, and Susan was nice enough to type up a little ordinance here, would be to use some of the extra funds that she has left in her personnel. She has several different positions that haven't been, she hasn't been paying, and pay a $3,500 stipend for her. That's my motion.
Motion
okay,
from-
wait. Let's do it on the ordinance number.
Adopt the ordinance. Yeah.
Ordinance number 2023-OCC-17.
Yeah, I move that we adopt that ordinance. You might want to read it.
Okay. A motion from Councilman Kraft. I have a second from Councilman Van Wy. Discussion.
Just a quick progress there. Kathy, when we get the health department, totally
Yeah.
separate. It doesn't
Yeah.
impact.
This is not a raise or an increase in her regular wage, but this is a stipend for all the other positions she's covered for, which would be completely different subject matter.
Totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, and she saved a lot of pay, she saved probably 10 times that much in having to cover that herself. It's not sustainable. We won't be able to keep her if she can't find people.
Right.
She'll burn out.
Pretty much got a 24/7, 7-day-a-week job now.
Yeah,
And I will say that I was responsible and was a guardian for somebody that was in the county in Sunny Meadows for over 25 years. And it's changed out there because of what we're allowed to do. And, when my person was out there, they were allowed to help in the kitchen and they were allowed to help in the laundry and things like that. That's no longer allowed. Not by our regulation, but by state regulations. And you want to compare them to what maybe somebody's doing at a hotel or a restaurant or something like that, but it's different. Not everybody is equipped to deal with the kind of people that we have as residents out there. And it does it does change whether or not somebody is willing to do that job. And so finding these people, it's finding the right people to deal with them, because they have to be someone that is very compassionate and capable of working with this group of residents. So she's doing a wonderful job out there right now, but if we struggled to find somebody to begin with, and if we burn her out, we're really gonna be stuck, because if she was gone, quite honestly, with these other people being gone, we would have to put the residents somewhere else. We could not leave them be there. So I think it's very important that we get this taken care of, and we address the issues that we've got out there.
And she's got a great attitude and spirit. And I will say, when she came in this year, she actually did a whole bunch of extra cleaning that hadn't been done for many years. Lita can attest to this. A dumpster or two worth of junk was removed from the home and thrown away. And so there was a lot of deep cleaning and just junk removal. Well, there's still quite a bit more to go, but she's getting there. She's doing a great job. If she could just get her head above water with staffing, I think she would be able to continue to improve things there too.
Can you go ahead and read that since I was not able to?
Oh, I can, yes. All right. Ordinance number 2023-OCC-17, whereas Sunny Meadows Director Angela Brown has been unable to have a fully staffed department for the year 2023, whereas Angela Brown has been covering for 3 open positions and for her matron who has been on FMLA along with her own duties with Sunny Meadows Department, and whereas Angela Brown has by necessity been required to act to perform all duties during 2023, it is hereby ordained by the DeKalb County Council that Angela Brown shall receive a stipend for 2023 of $3,500. And we have a motion and a second to approve this on first reading. All right. Any other discussion here? Comment from the public? Lita?
I was just out there this last week, and it is a complete different chapel rec room. She found a pool table stored upstairs and got it downstairs. How she did that, I'll never know. And found a ping pong table out in the garage. They're now both in there, and has received a donation for no cue sticks, balls, and more ping pong balls. The residents are thrilled, and there is a lot of room out there. She has done a fabulous job with the pressure she's under. So this is very much needed.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. I need a motion to suspend the rules.
So move.
Been moved by Councilman Van Wy. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Yard. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor of suspending the rules signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Now we're going to read this on second and third reading. Ordinance number 2023-OCC-17. Can I have a motion to approve this on second and third readings?
I move to approve.
Been moved by Councilman Kraft. Is there a second? By Councilman Van Wy. Discussion?
This isn't the right one. Well, we only have like one pay left this year, so, yep.
All right. Comment from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. I do
Did
have.
you do second and third?
That was second and third, wasn't it?
Who was that? Okay.
All right, now I have a question, because would this have been the first year that we paid the longevity stipend?
Yes.
And that has gone through with this coming paycheck, or
No,
was
it
the
was
last
on,
one?
it was on the first paycheck of December.
Okay, all right. Everything went along fine, and
Okay, so before everybody runs out of here, there are two ordinances that you guys. You got cheated on one.
are there any other topics for discussion before?
I don't remember where we're at with that, so back to the beginning. Okay, so I was going to get something for January.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure I.
Yeah, sorry.
Dropped the ball on something.
No, it was me. Being busy.
All right, well, before we move on, I just want to thank everybody as 2023 draws to a close. It's not been an easy year. I think everybody has stepped up to the plate and done everything they could to get us through this year with recovering from COVID and all these different issues that have come up. Just appreciate all the work that you all do. This county is, quite honestly, this county is in fairly good shape based on what I'm hearing from other counties and how they struggled with their budgets and their cash balances at the end of the year, and that DeKalb County has stepped up to the plate and done the things that we needed to do to make sure that we are in a positive place to begin 2024. I especially want to thank the auditor, the treasurer, the recorder, the clerk. They've all stepped up also. And I'm looking forward to a very good year in 2024. And Don, thank you for all that you do for us. You tell me when I'm getting off base a little bit, and I appreciate that.
Not always.
But anyway, thank you all, and hopefully you all have a good holiday, and wish you the best. Oh, Susan's got
one thing.
Okay.
I am this close to being able to go live with a searchable portal for your ordinances,
Yes.
resolutions, minutes.
Yes.
Jody and I have been working on this all year and talking with the company many, many, many times. But I'm very, very close. My goal was to have it ready to go before the first year of my first term. But I'm not sure if I'll make that, but it's very close, and we'll have that going for next year.
Well, this is something that most other counties and cities have. We have lacked this, and Don has said something to me before. Jim McCanna was, as the county attorney has said something, it's so difficult to find any of these ordinances, and some of these go back years and
Yes.
years. So this is going to be great. Appreciate the work that you guys have done for that.
It's been interesting, to say the least.
Did you find anything that was unusual?
You know what? Just trying to get all the paper out of a folder that's 15 years old and knowing.
And some of
Where
this has
things
got to go
are.
back longer than 15 years, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, definitely. But some during John's, and I don't know about before John, some of his are actually in hard binders, so we could at least just easily scan those. But yeah, clear back, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, it's a lot. So once we get to that point and we get that going, then the next thing will be finding a company that can look at the codification that we currently have in the commissioners to make sure everything is where it needs to be. That will be another big process.
All right.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. And